Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Saha Vidyam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So why did the snake become the garland? How? We have only heard of ropes becoming snakes. How? What happened there? How did the snake become a garland?
Because everything that is presented is a good thing.
Everything that is presented is a good thing. But why did the snake turn into garland? Why?
She didn't see those.
Yeah, that shows that she was influencing this world, her own world. Yeah, that's all it is. But what the skeptic can ask? What if there were two baskets, wherever this came from, and the basket got exchanged? That we say is Ishvara. Why did it have to get exchanged? And why did that someone else have to get the snake? That is karma, that is Ishvara. And we have so many such stories. You know the story of the ancient, very ancient saint called Ghosha. Her name was Ghosha, and she is one of the people whose names are taken in the Veda as the ancestors. You take the name of the ancestors, some of the exalted ancestors, rishis, sages, she is counted among them. 27 women feature. It's amazing. She is one of them. And this Ghosha, what did she do? Her father had an ashram, Vedanta ashram, and she had 3 brothers who were very commercial, commercially minded. They were just merchants and wanted to make money, and they were not interested in Veda, Vedanta, nothing. And so the father must have given them some money and whatnot. And the father, what did he do to the daughter? He said, Ghosha, you are my successor, because you alone, because she was very much, she had studied, she was a great Vedantin, and she had everything that it took to run that ashram. So the father gave the ashram to the daughter and passed away. And the 3 brothers, even though they were oil merchants or whatever it is, they could not let her rest in peace. They had property. They had everything. They were rich. Instead of taking care of the sister because she's leading, this ashram life, what did they do? They wanted to have that property also. Ghosha was somewhere from northeast India, Assam. So it's a very beautiful country there. Lot of rivers, greenery, mountains. So they wanted this prime property, and maybe they wanted to build condos, Vedic condos. And so they wanted to usurp it from her. But how to usurp it from her? She is so, worshipped in that area. She is so much highly regarded. So they have to do something so that the people lose their Shraddha in her, so that they don't see her as someone worthy of respect. This is Ghosha. And who is Ghosha? An ancient Vedanta saint running an ashram in those days, Even now it's rare to find women at the helm in any kind of a religious setting. And there she was. She inherited the ashram from the father, and the 3 brothers would not let her live in peace, even though they were rich. They constantly just, harassed her. And then they were individually harassing her. And then they decided to collectively harass her. And they paid one fellow to go in the morning. She would go to the river and then do this offering. This is what you do in the morning. offering to Bhagavan in the form of that light, which I hope to recognize, but which I see this light as the sun which lights up everything, which is the truth of me, the light which lights up everything. So this is a kind of a ritual that one does. So you have to stand knee deep or waist deep in water, and 3 times this arghya or this offering to the sun is done. So they knew her habit. In the morning when the sun is coming up at sunrise, that's where she would be found. And so they bribed one fellow to be hiding in the water. He was good at aquatics and he could hold his breath, I suppose. And then to emerge while she was doing that and then embrace her so that her reputation would be spoiled. Look, she's embracing strange men at dawn. Near the riverside. This is what they want. And not only that, they called CBS, NBC. No, they just called all the people, and they said, if you really want to see the true face of Ghosha, we, her brothers, invite you to come and see what you have never seen, what you don't know. This is an aspect of our sister that we would like you to really get acquainted with. And then you see whether she deserves this ashram or not. And of course, people are curious, they don't, yeah. And he promised them hot coffee on site so that they could get up early. So they all came. The whole town gathered, but he said, shh, behind the bushes. Don't let her know, because this is something you have to see. So they all waited, and this fellow, everything went as planned, except one thing. So, he was under the shallow water, he hid, and he, in the dark you cannot see somebody hiding right there. And what happened, he was, holding his breath. Then everything went as planned, tada, he emerged at the correct time. But seeing her splendor and her luster, all he could do was fall at her feet and say, please accept me as your disciple. And the townspeople said, oh, this is the town's greatest thug, and he is becoming the disciple of Ghosha. Definitely she doesn't deserve this ashram, she deserves a bigger. Yes, this is how to Ishwarify your life. This is how to Ishwarify. Because really she didn't see him as a threat. So secure in herself, she didn't see him as a threat. She might have been surprised. Maybe the last thing of water fell because who is this emerging in the, at dawn? And he went to embrace her, but then he couldn't. He just was awed, and he said, please forgive me. I was about to do the world's worst thing. Accept me as your student. And so this is the whole thing. So in a way, what happens is that, that is why they say prayer gives protection. It's not that the prayer is giving protection. It's your own, it strengthens you. These conversations become something to look forward to, and they become a place of strength. Even though in the beginning they start from a place of weakness. I want, I don't have, where are you? How do I search for you? It may sound from a place of weakness, but the prayer is addressed to that which is the strength of everything, which is the truth of you. So in prayer, that's the only connection between you and Ishvara, and between you and the cause of the universe. It's a very ingenious method where you are seeing the truth of yourself, but you cannot do that. You're relating to the truth of yourself, but you cannot do that, other than by externalizing it. It's like a monologue, Not monologue. What is that called? Where in a play there is only one actor. No, not mimicry. There is one actor. No, there is one actor who performs many roles. One man act, one woman act. There is a name for it. And this person, performs many roles. And I had seen one such thing long time back.
Solo? Solo?
Yeah, solo, whatever it is. So that is what it is. Soliloquy, solo. And so this is a solo act. and it's a solo act because you are playing the devotee who is so low, and and who is this devotee as a devotee in one corner of the stage. You are saying, oh, the maker of all, oh, the material of all, where are you? I'm frustrated, I'm having a bad day, where are the friends that you promised? Where is my cake? And where is my coffee? And this entity is praying in one corner of the stage, and then the floodlight on this person goes, and then when the stage is all dark, the same person runs to the other corner of the stage, and then maybe sometimes there is no prop, sometimes they put on a hat or whatever it is, or hold a stick. Let's say here there is no prop. The same entity, instead of sitting, is standing up and saying, I heard that. And you see, this is not all about feeling so low. It is about knowing you are the only thing, that everything is you. You see, the same person is doing both the acts. That's why those kinds of solo performances are so enticing, because we recognize this within ourselves. And so here it is this conversation that helps me to overcome this alienation that I feel, which becomes a deterrent for knowledge. So it is at once an experience of this oneness, which everybody is craving to have. Here you go, I've given you the recipe. And it's also a way of preparing for the teaching. That's why it becomes a very effective preparation, because in the relative level I feel secure, I feel surrounded with a certain, protection. And I feel one with everything. This is how to become one with everything. To not become one already is, but become within quotes. This is how to become one with everything. You start this conversation. And so we have so many examples of these conversations. You can relate to Bhagavan as sister, brother, mother, father of the universe. If you have mother issues, say you are the father of the universe. And if you have father issues, you say you are the mother of the universe. If you have mother, father, both issues pending, you don't even want to look at them, say you are the friend, you are my friend. Tvameva mata, pita tvameva, tvameva bandhu. Bandhu means relative. Sakha, friend. Even though it ends in a, it's a masculine word. So sakha tvameva. You are everything. And whichever way you can feel, whichever relationship is there that is not dushita, that is not flawed for you in your life, that you can actually look upon with a certain objectivity, make Ishvara that and relate in that form. If it is a friendship, let it be a friendship. No, I didn't have any problems with siblings. Okay, make Ishvara one more sibling. Yeah. And then, you can do that. And that way, you build this relationship. And the relationship is based on the devotee within. The one who is devoted, naturally devoted. And the one who is helpless to reaching out to the devotee, the devoted, the object of devotion, which is really not even reaching out, it's reaching in. But I don't know that, so therefore I reach out. It's a step towards preparing oneself for knowledge. And how real I can make this conversation, that is the bhakti. It's not the words that you say. You have to really, see that you have to make this alive. You have to make a real relationship. That's how in the tradition we relate. And there are some, stories of drastic saints. Who is a drastic saint? There was one fellow who used to abuse Shiva. Yeah, abuse. So he was mad. Or so they thought. Something was touched. And touched by Ishvara. And then, the children in the village thought him to be like the village idiot and made fun of him, and pulled pranks on him. And so, bothered by all of them, he had repaired to outskirts of the village where there was an abandoned Shiva temple. And this is how his prayer used to look like. So he used to open the door and say, "You idiot! You idiot! You want Abhisheka?" Abhisheka means the ritual bathing with all this milk and water, what we are going to do tonight. And you want Abhisheka? I'm going to sheka you up. And he spat. This is your Abhisheka. Spat on Shiva. And then you want garland? Because after Abhisheka you put some flowers. And so he would take some twigs and just string them up, some thorns and twigs, a wreath of thorns, and throw it like a frisbee. He used to throw it. Oh, you want some more flowers? And he would take some clod of earth and throw it. You want some chandan? Here is a clod of earth. Some vibhuti, one more clod of earth. How about some turmeric? Here. This is how he did it. And then the village grew into a town. And then the outskirts, people started to build homes and everything. And the so-called devout people saw, oh, abandoned Shiva temple, and this idiot is desecrating the deity. We have to get rid of him and consecrate this temple. And this desecrated temple, oh my God, we are earning all bad punya. That's why we are not making money in our business. Okay, we have to remedy this immediately. And so the head priest comes and says, what to do with this fellow? He eats here, he sleeps here, he does everything here, he's not going. What to do? So they have an idea. They blindfold him and they say they're going to feed him, and they take somewhere else in another corner of the woods. They leave him there. And then they paint, they first scale off all the clod of earth and all the other horrible things that he had put on the Shivalinga, and they clean it off and give it a paint job and refurbish the foundation, put new pillars. And the rich man says, make sure, I have paid for this temple, make sure that none of that there is no sign or hair of this fellow anywhere. So the head priest does all the incantations, holy water is sprinkled to become a moat around the temple. And then what? Then the much awaited day of the consecration arrives, where you have to ritually open the door. And all the whole town's people have gathered, and the door will not open. Thinking that maybe that was the only thing that was not renovated. He put some, what is that? Lubrication in the hinges, still doesn't open, does not open. And the head priest is nonplussed. He said, what happened? Why it is not opening? Yesterday it opened, day before yesterday it opened. Why today it's not opening? But he was a devout fellow. And he sat down. They were trying to break the door open, but then you have to reconsecrate everything. It doesn't count. It has to naturally open. He just sat down quietly, and he knew what was missing and why the door was not opening. So he said to the other priests, wherever you left him, go find him, bring him back. And fortunately, he was just sitting right there, and he had, made a Shivalinga out of earth, to which he was giving his choicest blessings and messages. And, and he was brought back. He was thrilled, He said, oh, all of you have come to worship with me, wonderful. And as he was approaching, he said, oh, you idiot, you think you can hide behind the door? And the door opened automatically. And he spat, and he did his Abhisheka. He just did this to this day. This is how the Lord is invoked in this particular temple. I forget where it is. It's also somewhere in eastern India to this day. And only in the Vedic tradition you will have prayers like this, where you call Bhagavan Drape, Andhasaspate, Daridran Neela Lohita. Drape means you idiot. In my life, in the form of karma, why are you doing this to me? You make me so hard to worship you. You are supposed to be this delight of the universe, pun intended, the light of the universe, the delight of this universe, but still look at what you have done to my life. You have messed it up royally. Drape means, oh, you whose face I don't even want to look at. Andhasaspate means this. Are you blind to my pain? Are you blind to my sorrow? Are you deaf? Don't you hear how much I cry myself to sleep? Don't you hear all the pains in my life? Daridra means you are in the form of poverty that only embraces me. Poverty of thinking, scarcity mentality, and sense of lack. That is how you have shown your face to me, Ishvara. I would like a change. This is a prayer coming from a heart. It becomes a garland, just like that snake became a garland. That's what it is, and you can alone make it real. You alone have the strength to do that. And prayer, there may be a lot of prayer books with lovely hymns and songs and everything, but the best prayer is the conversation that comes from the heart, that you have to make it real. You try it. Let this be Get to Know Ishvara week with the 2 exercises that I have suggested. Next week we'll check in and see, you can get some input and see what all happened. This is what the whole thing is. And this is what it's going to take to get to the place of readiness for this knowledge, to drop the pain which becomes a form of resistance, the pain of being hurt by figures of authority, and the pain of having this thing called God pushed down the throat with a stick when one was young. This is what it takes. And this is the pain that has to resolve, that has to be cried out, that has to be addressed and channeled properly. This is what one is working towards. This is what this whole thing is about. It's really important that one does this. This is what is called settling accounts with Ishvara, with your own higher self. That's all it is. And since that higher self is so difficult to access, we make it appear as it were outside, so that I learn to relate to it within and without. It's really effective, very, very effective. And that is the only way I know that I matter, that I influence my world. Forget the other world. My own world I can influence. And it becomes a matter for joy. And that is how the Upanishad also presents Ishvara. That's the only way, no other way. As the intelligent cause of this universe and as the material cause, the raw material of the universe and the intelligence. And we saw that in the spider example in the last class. And then in the next mantra, the randomness of the creation is negated by the next verse, that there is an order, and this creation is indeed orderly and not random. Tapasa chiyate brahma,
tapasa chiyate brahma,
tatonnam abhijayate,
tatonnam abhijayate,
annat prano manas satyam,
annat prano manas satyam,
lokah karmasu chamritam.
loka karmasu chamritam.
Chiyate is the verb. Chiyate means becomes big. What becomes big? What is the object of the verb? Brahma. Brahman becomes big. You just said it is limitless, no size, no space, no time, and then it becomes big. Big with the child, that is the Jagat. Exactly, because this is a model. This is a model. This is purposely poetic and haphazard in its presentation of the order of creation. Because the purport of the Upanishad is not to present a cosmology of creation. The purport, the tatparya, the commitment of the Upanishad is to see that Brahman is everything. But for the skeptic who says, how everything came, what happened? This is just a model. Tapasa chiyate brahma. Chiyate means like when you put a seed in water, what happens? It bulges with what? Knowledge. It bulges and then you put it in the ground. It's almost sprouting. That's what it is. Before it sprouts, what happens? It bulges. And that bulging is described by Adi Shankara as a child who has been away from the parents for a long time. Whole day it has spent in daycare, mother has gone to work, father has gone to work. And when it sees the parents, it just bulges with happiness. So this bulge is not unlike the bulge of the child that has been kept away from the parents for a whole day. And then it sees the parents after a gap and it bulges. That happiness is the cause of creation. And here is where we differ from our Buddhist friends who say that the world is sorrow. We say world is Ananda. So that Ananda is the bulge and that knowledge is the bulge. That limitlessness is a bulging limitlessness. But here with reference to that knowledge is there all the time, yes. And the Ananda, the joy is also there all the time. But what is that, if somebody were to ask, what is that moment that separates that Ananda as Ishvara that is constant versus the moment that Ishvara takes on the hat of being the creator? What is that? It is this bulge. And what is this bulge? It is the identification of that with that knowledge and that limitlessness. First, that knowledge is there and one is one with that knowledge. Ishvara is not there, you cannot say. Ishvara is there. But Ishvara is not a creator. Ishvara is that Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. So, and Brahman cannot create. How can Brahman create? Brahman is just is. So, to undergo an as though change to dawn on the persona of the creator. Remember, we were talking about the devotee in one corner, and now this person has come from the other corner, and the same person is occupying another corner of the brightly lit stage and looking a little fat. Tapasa chiyate brahma. Yeah. This is this chiyate. This is what it is. It is that, it is a certain identification with that happiness. Like even in the mind of the child, the mother and the father are there, but that contact with them or that seeing them after a gap makes the child brim with that manifestation of that happiness. The child is always happy that there is mother, father. It's not that suddenly it became happy. The thought of the mother makes it happy, the thought of the father makes it happy. But it has seen them after a gap, and when it sees them after a gap, what happens? That happiness is overflowing. This is that overflowing of the knowledge and overflowing of that limitlessness in the form of the Jagat, the brimming Satyam Jnanam Anantam. When it comes to the brim, it overflows, and that overflow is called the Jagat. It has to be taken poetically. So that is what it is. But why does it overflow? And up till now Ishvara was sad and suddenly he became happy. No. It's not even happiness. The happiness we just have to call it because of constraint. But really speaking, what is there is that the overflow is just a metaphor for the identification with that knowledge. Up till now there was all knowledge, all what? Ananda, limitlessness, all existence. Existence, knowledge, and that limitlessness was there, Satyam Jnanam Anantam. But when that knowledge morphs into the knower, my knowledge, my limitlessness, I alone am, my existence, there is a certain joy in that myness without ragadvesha. When there is ragadvesha involved in ownership, there is no joy. There is only insecurity. Always one is worried, oh, somebody will take away my possessions, you see. So, but when there is joy in ownership and there are no ragadveshas involved, then it's a freeing feeling. Very freeing. Like you watch, like you're living in a rented house. It's a freeing feeling. Yeah. You give the money every month, and then if anything is wrong, you have a number to call. Yeah. Send the plumber. Send the, carpenter. Send the electrician. Send the painter. It's not your problem. There is a freeing feeling. Yeah. Even though you may say my house. You will say my house, but still it's a freeing feeling. And if that same amount of rent becomes mortgage, it's a different name. You're still paying the same every month. But it's called mortgage now. Yeah. And what is mortgaged is your peace of mind. That is what is left with the bank. You don't own it anymore. Because every day you see problems. You cannot enjoy. So this is a knowledge where the knower of this knowledge, even though the knower may say, this all mine, there is no sense of ownership, because there is no other. Because whose else can it be? So there is no threat, there is no owner. So this identification with the knowledge is called the bulging with knowledge. Tapas here is knowledge. It's not that Ishvara is standing on one leg in the tree pose before the tree was created. No. The tapas is knowledge. Jnanameva tapaha. Yasya jnanamayam tapaha is going to be revealed in the very next verse. And so tapas is what? Knowledge. Bulges with knowledge means there is a slight difference. The knower has come out of this knowledge. But how is that? What does that look like when you wake up from sleep? In sleep, is there a knower or not? No, because I don't even know I'm asleep. Later on, was I asleep? You have a question. That too in class? No wonder class went by so quickly. So in sleep, the knower has resolved into that existence, consciousness, knowledge, sentience, limitless. That's because one doesn't know how long one has slept. What wakes you up?
Heart.
The voice of the teacher changing her tone in class. No. What really wakes you up? What kind of karma? Prarabdha karma. Your own karma wakes you up. Oh my God, something to do. Oh my God, what do I have to do? Really. Karma wakes you up. And so, what is that karma? I know I have to do certain things. That nowhere comes. So that's why upon waking up, what is the first thought? First thought may be, oh good, the scenery is familiar, so I'm still around. That may be the first thought. But then what is the second? What is the immediate thought upon waking? What is that?
Have to get up.
Yeah, but why?
To do this.
What do I have to do today? First, which day? Oh, what do I have to do today? Oh my God. Get out of bed. That's why I have the thought I have to get up. But there are things to do, that's why to get up. That's why Saturday, Sunday, nobody gets up. Yeah. Except some crazy Vedantins. Yeah, So nobody gets up. Because you feel like there is not much to do. Even retired people live their life like this. Oh, today is Saturday. Every day is Saturday. No, today is special. Because that orientation is so strong. Oh, but today is Saturday. Today is Sunday. No problem. But every day, you have to go to office? No, but still that feeling of weekday is there. Because one is used to that cycle. So, when you wake up, usually you wake up with a start. Oh my God, things to do. Even though no one is watching and you're an adult and there is no mother and father saying, why did you wake up so late? Nobody is there to say anything. But even then what? You wake up with a start, because that start is the kickstart of prarabdha. Prarabdha kicks and you are up. But it is slightly different for Ishvara. Ishvara wakes up because your prarabdha kicks, really. Your prarabdha clamors. This is the model, okay? Don't take this seriously. To somebody who asks why there is creation, and the person cannot see that this creation is just a mere projection. So then, for that, we are constrained to say that the clamoring of the karma of the jivas makes Ishvara identify with that knowledge, existence, limitlessness with which that Ishvara, that Ishvara means that conscious entity was one with, now stands in relationship as a knower, as a possessor of those, we can't call them attributes, that description of that total existence, knowledge, all knowledge, source of existence, source of everything, because there is no everything, source. And then when you say, I am the owner of this, that sense of identification, is that space before the creation individuates, because that is the first individuation, that of the knower, correct? Because before you are a doer, you are a knower, correct? Yeah, you cannot do without being a knower. First is pramata, then is what? Then is karta. But pramata or jnata, the one who knows, then you morph into the doer. First you are the knower. So that Ishvara in relationship to the knowledge now is as though equipped with the knowledge of all the jivas, of all the karmas, of all the things, and then with the help of a Maya, which is seen as a power, a make-believe power. It's not that Ishvara borrows from Maya and says, I owe you one, I'll give it back later. No. Maya is a make-believe, kalpita shakti, a make-believe power, an as-though power. But why an as-though power? Because the so-called manifestations are as-though. So as-though power for bringing about the as-though modifications in that Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam is the cause of the universe. Because Brahman cannot create, Brahman just is, and then is all knowledge without morphing into knower known. To morph into the knower in relation to my knowledge, my existence, my limitlessness, there needs to be a small change. And if that change is real, then the Jagat becomes real. And if that change is not real, then there is no Jagat. So therefore what? It's an as-though change. Just like when you wake up from the sleep, you are the same person, correct? Yeah. It's not that somebody else went to sleep and you woke up. You yourself went to sleep, you woke up. But there is a slight change. You were in resolution and now you have a different relationship to that knowledge which you did before. In sleep, you were not the knower of the knowledge. You were just knowledge. And in the waking state, you are the knower of the waking Jagat. That's how it is. It's the same change, even at the level of the collective. It's the same exact transformation. And then this is what Shvetaketu, when he went to Uddalaka for instruction, was told. The father said to him, Sadeva Somya idam agre asit. Idam agre. Before all these names and forms came into being, what was there? Sat. What is there now? Sat. What will be there after everything resolves? Sat. Sadeva Somya. Somya means, oh dear one. Sadeva asit. Ekameva. How many sats? One. But one can be half? No. Advitiyam. Ekameva advitiyam. Oh, then what about all these other things? Vacharambhano vikaraha namadheyam. They are all dependent on vak. Vachalambanam, vacharambhanam. They began with vak. They are depending on vak, on speech, because everything is a name, a word and meaning. Table, word and meaning. Wood, word and meaning. Molecule, wooden molecules. Word and meaning. Sawdust, word and meaning. Word and meaning, word and meaning. Ocean, word and meaning. Wave, word and meaning. Water, word and meaning. Word and meaning, 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 word and meaning. Where do all these words come from? Sat. But that is also a word. In the beginning, there was word. The word was with God. Nay, the word was God. I love that sentence. This word is knowledge. It resolves into that all-knowingness. That's why you say word was with God. In the beginning. So they same, it's almost the same. Sadeva Somya idam agre, in the beginning. All that was there. This word is knowledge, all knowledge. And out of this all knowledge, knowledge of words, knowledge of meanings, and we are constrained to give a name for this knowledge called Sat, called Chit, called Ananta, Ananda, Jnanam. That's all it is. Sat is also a word, correct? But it's where the word drops and the meaning is you. The word takes you to the door. The word is like an usher in a theatre, you know. You go to an opera and then there is a smartly dressed usher and you arrive a little late, so everything is dark and you have to be shown your seat, and the usher comes and, you know, with a flashlight says, don't talk now, just come quietly, and just shows you. Yeah. Shows you, there it is. Stays out for the next person. Yeah. So these are all the words that take you to the door and show you the seat, which is this self-revealing I. That's all it is. The words are like ushers. Because the meaning is you. That's why the word Sat, that's why the argument that Sat is also another word and meaning. How is that different? It's different from table, chair, wood, sawdust, molecule, particles, quarks. It is different because this Sat does not resolve into anything else. It is the meaning of you. And you don't resolve. You are the one that resolves everything into you. And that is Ishvara. That is the status of the creation. And tapasa chiyate, with knowledge, becomes big. Because there is that identification with the knowledge. And there is that identification with the knowledge means what? There is that feeling, this is my knowledge. Chiyate Brahma. And then this knowledge alone is. And then Shvetaketu gives the example. Sat alone was. Sat alone is going to be when all this resolves. Like even what? Ekena mritpindena sarvam mrinmayam vijnatam iva bhavati. So by knowing one clod of earth, the whole world of earthenware is as it were known. I don't have to do a PhD on every pot, on every lid, on every cup, on everything that is made of clay. What do I have to know? I have to know the clay. If I know the clod of earth, I recognize everything is as it were known to me. So if I know Sat Chit Ananda, Satyam Jnanam Anantam, if I know Brahman, then everything is as well known. There's nothing more to know, because this is the only thing. If you don't know, it creates problems. So it is as good as known. That's why he says, Ekena mritpindena, by knowing one clod of earth, you know the whole world of mrinmayam, mrit vikaram here. That maya means vikara, modification. You know the modification of this, the earth into various pots, lids, clay figurines and the whole world of clay is known to you. So too the modification, as it were, of this Sat Chit Ananda, of that you alone, the only thing that does not resolve, the only thing that is not caused, when you know, you see that that is all that there is. And here the modification, at least in the case of the pot and the clay, if the modification is real, because the clod of earth becomes smaller and smaller the more you take out of it. But this remains the same because it is sizeless, formless, nameless, but not meaningless because it's you. You recognize yourself. The words are just ushers that take you in a little shuttle, Satchidananda shuttle, and then drop you at the door. They cannot explain you. That's why they say that it is beyond words. Because the rest of the journey you have to do yourself. Oh, but that's so hard. It's not, because it's a self-revealing I. They just help you there because you're focused on the not I. So they kidnap you from the not I, put you in this, golf cart, and then take you, and then put you in the right direction, and drop you off at the door of Satchidananda, which is you, which is understood as you. You cannot say, I don't know that I exist. That existence alone is the existence of the entire universe. So it's not a wrong thing to say the whole universe depends on I alone. And that I is Ishvara. When that I, leans forward to create, it's called Ishvara. When it leans back and resolves in itself, it's called Brahman. Same thing. That's all it is. Oh, what did you say? Ishvara. Oh, Brahman. That's all it is. And we can even get fancier. When that I, leans forward, we say she. When that I surveys, we say he. That's all it is. That's all it is. It's just beautiful. It all comes back to you. And so tapasa chiyate brahma. So from this model, what do we understand? Tapasa chiyate brahma. Brahman identifying with this knowledge, and what else? The existence, the source of everything. That identification is that minus, meanness, without jealousy, fear or possession, without raga dveshas, in other words. Then what happens? Tataha means tasmat. From that Brahman, annam abhijayate. And it's a very comforting thought that food was the first thing that was created. Adi Shankara says to feed these vociferous appetites of the samsaris, food was created. But why food? Because the body of the jivas need a body, correct? What nourishes the body? Food. So it's very comforting to know that food was the first thing to be made. Don't take this order seriously, otherwise we'll be in trouble, otherwise we'll be here forever. Yeah, don't take it seriously, I'm telling you again. This is a model. And every Upanishad, the model changes purposely to keep us completely and thoroughly flummoxed, so that we don't focus on the order of creation. Yeah, what are we interested in? We are interested in, reckoning the disorder that is caused by knowledge, and by seeing that everything is already orderly. We are not interested in how the creation came about. And so you have to just take this as a fun thing. So annam was created. Annam means food. Why? Because otherwise how will all the samsaris come and complain about the food? That is why annam was created. Adi Shankara has a nice sense of humor. So the body of the samsaris, the body of the ones who says I'm bound in this jagat, depends on what? Food. So therefore food was created. And then what? Annat pranaha. So after food was created, then what else are you depending on? See, it's all about you. Even if you talk of the relative you, I want food, I want air to breathe, correct? Prana. Prana that ties everything together. Even the cockroach breathes. There is these, what are they called? Huge This big cockroaches. Yeah. Where? In Brazil. And they are called the singing cockroaches. Brazilian singing cockroach. They don't sing. They just hiss. Their breathing is called singing. I suppose somebody, trained them to breathe in C sharp or something like that. I don't know. But anyhow, these are the... So everything breathes. And all that depends on this breathing to convert this air. Whatever this exchange of this air is taking place, some form of respiration. That is what ties everything together. Sutratma in the form of prana. So prana is there. The ability, first the food was created. So roti pakaya Brahman ne. Brahman made a few chapatis. And then what? And then said, forgot to put the air to breathe. And then put some air to breathe. Not air. The physiological, order. That is what is called. The anatomical and physiological order is called prana. The digestion, the circulation. Because once you have food, the capacity to digest, that's also prana. So all this came. And then what? And then after the food and the prana came, there should be a mind to complain about it all. Then the mind came. And and that's why we need this knowledge. So then the mind came. Then what happened? Satyam. Satyam here means the 5 elements came. And then, but the 5 elements came after food? How is that possible? I told you, don't take this seriously. Yeah. This is just a fun verse to show that everything has come from Brahman. And then there is an order in this. And so we have to see the order, the order of humor. And so the first you have things to complain about. And then you have the mind to complain about it. And then there are 5 elements. Because then you find that everything is dependent on the 5 elements. So no use complaining. Because the 5 elements are how they are. And then what? Lokaha. Fields of existence. Fields of experience. And what are included in lokas? Parks, malls, movie theaters, balls, schools, colleges, what else? Homes, good neighborhoods, bad neighborhoods. These are all the lokas. And if you really want to take it in the Vedic way, 14 lokas. Yeah. Bhurityadaya, Adi Shankara says. Bhuhu. Who is Bhu? That's why I said Bhuhu. And Bhuvaha, Suvaha, Mahaha, Janaha, Tapaha, Satyam. These are 7 wonderful lokas. Bhu starting with earth. Little more comfortable than earth, Bhuvaha. Little better than Bhuvaha, Suvaha. Little better than Suvaha, Mahaha. Little better than Mahaha, Tapaha. Little better than Tapaha, Janaha. Little better than Janaha, better than anything else. Satyam, not this Satyam here. Yeah, Satyam here is Brahmaloka. Yeah. That's all it is. Where there are no complaints. And then, then what? And as a corollary, because what goes up must come down. And so as a corollary, there are 7 below. 7 down. What are they? Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Dharatala, Rasatala, Mahatala, Patala. These are the 7 not very savory fields of existence, fields of experience. Depending on karma, you go to live in any of these places. And so these are all the parallel universes that that after 10,000 years after the revelation of the Vedas, Harry Potter authoress started to talk about here. Parallel universes. This is all it is. That there are multiverses, that there are many things happening at the same time and they are veiled because you cannot see them. Yeah, that's all it is. And then what? Lokaha was created. And what were the lokas created for? For the karmas to come out and play. Karmasu. And then what? What's the last word?
Cha.
Yeah, not Chamritam. Cha. Amritam. Cha means what? And what else was created? Amritam. What is Amritam? Good karmas. Yes. So that everybody can enjoy. The Upanishad is hopelessly optimistic. Yeah. Upanishad says a lot of good karma was created so that everybody can enjoy, and so this is what it is. But the one thing that wasn't created, who is that? Jiva. Why?
There was not.
Why Jiva was not created? We have everything here. See, look, what all do we have? We have Brahman first becoming fat, pregnant with desire, pregnant with knowledge, pregnant with intention to create, pregnant with all the resources, and then what? Created food. Yes, and then what? Then from the food came prana, from the prana came the mind, then the 5 elements, and then all the places of experience to experience these, and then the good karma came. Where is the jiva? Where is the
Mind means jiva is there.
where is the jiva?
Jagat is part of
Jagat is part of jiva?
Jiva is a part of the Jagat.
Jiva is part of the Jagat? Jagat is part of jiva?
Next verse.
Next verse it will come.
Field of experience is the body.
Field of experience is the body. Yeah. So where is the jiva? We are not talking of body. Anna is also body. But where is the jiva? Jiva is missing in this creation. Ayyo, this creation is flawed because I am not in it.
Yes, jiva is a mithya.
Jiva is Brahman. Yes. Jiva has to be missing. Yes. Jiva is the one who is a product of ignorance and individuation. Alienation is jiva. Ignorance of this, Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam is jiva. So, jiva is not a product of Ishvara. And even though we may say, Tvameva Mata, Pita, Tvameva, you are my mother and father, it's only a relationship for ease of relating. We don't say we are children of God. You'll never hear a Hindu say that. You'll never hear a Vedic tradition person say that. Other than as a metaphor. We don't believe that we are created by God. No. You are the creator. You cannot say with the same breath and say you are the creation. No. You are the creator. You remain as that. But because you don't know that, you have free will and you are free enough to alienate yourself from the whole and do all kinds of antics called karma and then get ticked off by them and then have karma phala and then clamor for a new place to express those karmas, and this is all just a joke. The whole thing is a spoof. That's all you are that Ishvara who don't know, who doesn't know I am Ishvara. That's all it is. So the jiva is never a creation. Jiva is Ishvara. And that is why we are, trying to crack this. What is that? There was some code, not Da Vinci code, Ishvara code. This is what it is. Cracking the Ishvara code. What do you find? You. That's what you see. It's all the rest of it is a trapping of ignorance, a trapping of knowledge. Oh, here Brahman is becoming big with knowledge. The jiva is becoming small with ignorance. It's all a spoof. There is no jiva, no Ishvara. All there is Ishvara. Jivatvam is a myth, mithya. Jivatvam is jiva, hood jiva, nest, the status of the hoodie which the jiva wears, mithya. And if Ishvara has a hoodie with little glitter on it, that is also mithya. What is inside is Satyam Jnanam Anantam on this side, Satyam Jnanam Anantam on that side. And all this, why do we need to learn? So that the Mahavakya is understood better. That's all it is. Yeah, we'll stop here. It's been very heavy. My God. Let's go home. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Aur kya? I think we shouldn't ask any questions today. Yeah. Jiva always was, correct. Mayaskari, very good. Jiva always was, I will add Ishvara. Jiva always is Shvara. Yeah, so that's all it is. Yeah, very good.